Folks, we're here at the Ashby, which is a church in Ashby, Massachusetts, and in the back of the church is a cemetery that goes back to the late 1700s, and we're at the site, the marker of one of the men who fought at the Battle of Lexington and conquered. His name was Prince Estabrook, and cameraman, can you give a close-up? It's a very modest little marker here. Prince Estabrook, and it says Negro, and he was in Greaton's company, Mass Regiment, Revolutionary War. Prince Estabrook was one of the men. He was a Lexington Minuteman, and on that fateful day of April 19th, in that morning of 1775, he was one of the 70 to 80 men who answered the alarm, and he was also wounded during that skirmish. After the skirmish, he went on to serve in the Revolutionary War in the Continental Army. He served in Fort Ticonderoga. He was one of the men that helped to guard these British soldiers that were in prison in Cambridge after General Burgoyne surrendered. And he did serve a rather lengthy term. What's interesting about Prince Estabrook is one that at the time he was a slave, and of course he was a black man. He had a very good rapport with his master and owner. They were more like friends, and he did get his freedom shortly after the War for Independence. And he settled here some years later in Ashby, Massachusetts. He was very much beloved by the people, and he lived up to a ripe age. He lived into his late 80s, early 90s, I believe. And I think it's very important that we recognize people like Prince Estabrook. One of the reasons is because, well, many of us know some of the more prominent figures in history, the Paul Reveres and the Sam and John Adams. All of them, of course, should be commemorated and memorized. But men like Prince Estabrook, who were there to answer the alarm. He was a private, basically. He wasn't an officer. He didn't make any famous speeches or make a famous ride, but he was there, and his blood was some of the earliest blood that was shed. And without people like Prince Estabrook, we wouldn't be here today enjoying the freedoms we do. And I do want to mention this wonderful little book. It was called by Alex Hinkle, which is available on Amazon, I believe. It's about Prince Estabrook, slave and soldier. It's about his life, and I recommend it. The gentleman you see on the front cover is a man named Charlie Price, who does the reenactment. He actually does the reenactment on April 9th when they have the Patriots' Day reenactment at early morning. And Prince Estabrook was probably in his early 30s back in 1775. And Mr. Price has been doing this for like 30 plus years, so he's not exactly 34 anymore, but he's very proud and honored to be part of the Lexington militia. And our motto here at Camp Constitution is to honor the past, teach the present, and prepare the future. And we want to honor the men like Prince Estabrook. And just a little while ago we were at the bridge in Pepperell, Massachusetts, where Prudence Wright, the first female, the all-female militia. So with that, I do recommend the book, and give us a look at Camp Constitution. We like to take field trips with our camp, and we like to visit places like this. So give us a look, campconstitution.net, and thank you for your attention.